guys, welcome back to the Jack Homestead. Tonight we're going to talk about our fails for 2022, and we're
This is part
also
two.
part two, yes, of our year end review. And we're also going to talk about stuff that it's upcoming for this year.
For
Some of the
2023.
our goals that we would like to try to do.
Well, I don't want to call these fails, but we had high goals for this past year. Louis just shook the camera, I think. Um, we thought that we could get a lot more accomplished than we actually did. We're not giving up on these goals. We're trying them again this year. So we'll see if we can accomplish these goals. But we thought we were going to do bees, and we never did do our bees, but we're going to try this year. We didn't do pigs, we didn't do turkeys, and we didn't do fruit trees. We were hoping to do all of that this year, and we did not. It's not a fail, it's just that we had way too many other things going on,
Yeah,
and we're unable to do them.
yeah, we should have done like maybe a 2 or 3 year plan on that part of it.
Yeah,
Um,
we're
yeah,
excited and we're just trying to do a lot of things at
yeah,
once, and we have to slow down and take our time with
yeah.
things. But um, we had our first loss from our animals this year. Um, everybody, if you follow, know that I'm from the city. This is all new to me, farming and
Yep.
animals and all of that. Mr. Jack has always warned me that be prepared, there's always animal losses on a farm. And of course, I say, I know, but I am terrified. I don't want to lose any of my chickens, any of my ducks, or anything like that. But we did have our first loss. We lost one of our ducks. She is one of the original ducks that I got. Her name was Betty. She was a Welsh Harlequin. And sorry if the camera's shaking, Louis is playing right under it. Um, it was the middle of the day, as I was saying before the dog moved the camera. We had our first loss, my duck, Betty. She was a Welsh Harlequin, one of my original ducks. In the middle of the day, a beautiful spring day, the sun was out. They were out free ranging
Yeah,
on
they
out
started.
front,
Yeah,
right?
they started to get a little braver. They would go farther and farther away from the house up here, and I believe they were uh, out past the garage in the woods where the water was coming down the hill. They were always messing in there and getting frogs and
And
stuff.
Mr. Jack was in the garage. I was in the house, and he came in and said, "We're missing a duck." So I went running outside because if you have farm animals, you're always counting. We count our animals all the time to make sure everybody's around. And they were by the pond when I went out there.
That's when I
And
noticed.
I counted
Counted
them and
them.
I was like, okay, she's missing.
Yeah,
And we searched the entire day. We live on a little over 10 acres, and we searched. Mr. Jack was on the four wheeler. He went in the swampy areas. He went
yeah,
everywhere. We called the neighbors. None of the neighbors heard or seen anything. I mean, we searched this property. There was no signs of her, no feathers, no nothing. I mean, usually a predator will leave some sort of evidence, but there was
yeah,
nothing. So we
and
don't know what happened.
yeah.
We're thinking a fox or a
Fox.
coyote or
Nah, it was
something
probably a fox.
picked her up
Or
and just
it could
took
have been
her.
an owl. An owl will swoop down and they hit their prey so hard it kills them instantly. But I can't believe she was big,
She was our
big.
biggest duck we had.
Yeah, and I don't think it had to have been a pretty big owl to pick it up. But see, probably a fox,
Fox.
I would say, because I didn't find any feathers anywhere and no sign of struggle or
And it was springtime,
yeah, in
so
the
we were
spring.
thinking an animal that was probably
Yeah,
feeding its
yeah,
young.
that time of year. So
But it
yeah,
was sad.
yeah, it was
I
sad.
mean, we kept waiting, thinking maybe she'll come back, but
Yeah,
she
but
never came back.
yeah, they started to venture farther and farther away from the house and the pond out here. There was a time that they were out back in the upper pond, which isn't far from our pond.
Yeah, but they were going all the way down to our
Right,
creek, all the way down
right.
the end of the
And they
property.
were getting up there, and I guess Kyle, our neighbor, was saying that he saw them up in his yard, and that's quite a ways through the woods there.
But they don't do
Um,
that no more.
yeah, they don't.
Ever since
Yeah,
she went missing, they have been staying at our
yeah,
house. So,
I think the farthest they've gone was maybe just past the garage a little bit, but other than that, they hang out here.
yeah,
So
so that was our first loss. We did explain on the first video of our successes about how we got a truck. So basically, the failure was we lost our
yeah,
car. Um,
Ruby broke.
Ruby broke, and I miss her. Driving a big truck is an adjustment for me, but she had some. We knew her time was coming. It was an unexpected time. So I guess you could say that was a failure. Um, the chicken tractor. It wasn't a failure. It did its job, but it was really heavy for me, and I wanted to be able to help Mr. Jack, and I could not because I couldn't move it. So even though that was a failure, Mr. Jack is improving it by making a new one that hopefully I will be able to move. It's bigger but lighter, so we'll keep you posted on that and see if we really like that one. If not, we may have to improve again on the tractor, but it did its purpose. I guess it's not a failure, but
No, that'll be in the upcoming goals that we got for about the chicken tractor. So that'll be in this
yeah.
video, I believe,
Um,
right?
yes.
Yep.
And then, okay, so as far as I'll talk about the animals, um, the bird flu was going around this time last year. And the hatcheries that I had ordered from last year had gotten the bird flu. And my order got canceled last minute. So I was in panic mode. And we ordered from a new hatchery that we had never ordered from. I won't say their name because I don't like to do that. But when these chicks arrived, half of them died within a day or two, and then we got two roosters out of that group that weren't supposed to be roosters. Like, I paid extra money to make sure that I got hens. Now that company I did call them, and they did reimburse me my money for the ones that died and for one of the roosters. The other one we just discovered a couple days ago is a rooster. But anyway, so um, I was very unhappy with that hatchery. So that's why Mr. Jack, I explained in the last video, went to Tractor Supply and bought me 4 chickens from there to make up for the ones that I had lost.
No, we got
Um,
6.
at Tractor Supply?
Yeah.
No, just
4.
4.
Okay.
Yeah, the 3 hens and then the rooster.
Right.
But so anyway, that was a huge loss, and it was very upsetting for me when that happened. I was devastated. Like, every day I felt like I was losing a new baby, and I was doing everything imaginable, but there was nothing I could do. Clearly, when they shipped them, they did not ship them properly like the other hatcheries do.
Yeah, they would
So
put a little hand warmer thing inside
yeah, something.
the little box crate thing that they come in. They
Yeah,
didn't even
because they
have that
still
in there.
need some sort of heat
Yeah.
when they're real young because they don't have feathers or anything. But anyway, so that was a fail. Another thing regarding chicks. When we get the meat birds are kept in a brooder box when they're babies. And Mr. Jack made me a brooder box last year that we used for the first time for just specifically the meat birds. And we had it in my she shed. And we didn't think about it, or maybe we did it real fast, but the lid that he had, he put chicken wire across the top, and it would flip open so that you could open it and whatever you needed to do, and then it would flip down and lock. Well, Mr. Jack was on a fishing trip with his brothers. I was here by myself, and my daughter's boyfriend just happened to stop over. He was picking something up, and I said, "Oh, you should come see our new meat birds we got. They're so cute. They're just tiny little babies." So we went out, and my shed doors were open. I always leave them open in the summertime during the day. And as soon as I stepped into the shed, I saw a big black snake in with the meat birds' chicks, and he ate three of them. One was in his mouth, and then we could see the lumps in him. Um, I panicked. I won't get into details, but my daughter's boyfriend did kill him. And I know everybody's going to freak out that they're good snakes,
Yeah.
but he was eating my birds. What else was I going to do? I had to do something. Plus, once they get a taste of that, he would have kept coming back and coming back
and it was my
to
fault
eat my
again,
chicks.
like she said that.
So it is, don't say your fault, our fault. We should have known better.
Well, I put the chicken wire on there. And he got right through that.
He went right in.
Cloth, so
well, we learned our lesson. Yeah. We fixed it as soon as Mr. Jack came home. I just made sure I kept the shed door shut from that point on.
Right.
And
we were out
Mr.
there.
Jack, he fixed the top and he put a new top on, so now snakes cannot get in it.
Yeah.
Plus now I'm terrified of snakes. If anybody knows me, they know I'm terrified of snakes. So now I'm so scared that the brooder box stays down in the garage with Mr. Jack's garage, because I'm so terrified that it's going to attract the snakes to my shed. So that was a loss, but the hatchery we got the meat birds from had given us extra, which really worked out for us.
Yeah, we ended up with, I think we lost 3 chicks, and we still had 24, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that, 24 meat birds left.
Yep. So. The only other thing, too, I want to talk about regarding the animals was we ended up with 3 roosters this year. Yeah. Mrs. Jack, when we decided we were going to do a homestead and Mr. Jack wanted to get animals, he really wanted chickens. And I said no. I was terrified of chickens, especially roosters. I am terrified of roosters. So I said no. So it took me a really long time. The dog, I'm sorry, he wants to play right by the camera and he's going to knock you over. So, Mr. Jack said, whoa, we don't have to get roosters. Let's just get chickens. I still didn't want to do it, but I did a bunch of research, found the best breeds to get that weren't aggressive at all. And then we got the chickens. Well, this past year, when Mr. Jack bought the 4 chickens from Tractor Supply, we were told they were all female. One of them ended up being a male. And then this hatchery that we got our chickens from, they were supposed to be all female, and they gave me 2 males. So we had 3 roosters. So we knew that wasn't good. I didn't want any of them, but I tried really hard to get along with these roosters. And we knew that the one rooster, he was getting very aggressive with the ladies, not with us, with the hens.
That was Colonel.
And he was crowing
Beautiful
nonstop.
bird.
He was gorgeous.
Oh, he was
But
gorgeous.
he was crowing nonstop.
Yeah,
so we found him a nice home. A woman that has chickens. She wanted him. She loves him. She still has them. So we found him a home. Now, that was the Colonel. The General, no, we got rid of the General.
The General, I'm sorry, yeah, General.
And we kept the Colonel.
Yep, the Colonel stayed.
So the Colonel stayed, and he was beautiful too. And I tried everything in my power. I would love on him at nighttime.
Yeah.
We did everything. Well, I don't know if it was a hormone thing or what, but he started coming at me when I would be outside feeding them or collecting eggs. He would chest bump the back of my legs. And I told him, I said, hey, you know, he's starting to act up. Like he's coming at me and running after me when I'm outside. And he'd, show dominance. And I did. I would try everything. And it just didn't work. So one day, Mr. Jack had come home from work, and I went out to collect the eggs, and he was out there with the ladies, and I just walked by him and went to go get the eggs, and when I turned around, he was right next to me, and none of the hens were there, just him. And I started to talk to him, and I could see, like, he puffed up, and he ran at me, this time, like, right towards me, instead of, like, waiting until I turned my back, and he tried to spur me. So I didn't have anything in my hands, so I started to kick him. Long story short, I managed to get myself around to the front of the coops because he was just coming at me nonstop. And so I started screaming for Mr. Jack, and he woke up and came out, and he ended up in our freezer.
Yeah. Long story short.
He's in the freezer. He would not stop attacking me. The thing is, it would be one thing if he attacks me, but we have grandkids, and I didn't want him going after a grandkid. Yeah. I didn't want him going after a farm sitter if somebody was here. So everybody that I talk to, they say there's no need to keep aggressive roosters. There's good roosters out there, but you know,
he did his job.
He did do his job.
He protected the flock.
But we can't have that here. So now I thought I had no more roosters. Well, our crazy Polish chicken that we have, Noodle, supposed to be a female.
He's a rooster.
We laugh all the time because he's like the road runner. Yeah, he just runs everywhere. Real fast everywhere. Boom, boom. Well, we couldn't figure out if it was a boy or a girl, and because he was just acting weird, and we thought he might be a boy. Well, the other day we noticed he has furs, so he's a rooster. He's not crowing. I don't know if he will or when he will, but he's got spurs. He definitely has spurs. Nobody else has spurs, so we believe he's a rooster.
Yeah.
Now again, I'm going to give him a chance, and hopefully he should be fine. He is a little tiny thing, so I'm not really scared of him.
He thinks he's a bad...
Yeah, he'll come running right up to you.
Bad, you know, he thinks he's a badass, is what he thinks. But he comes running and he turns and runs away.
Yeah. Funny. What else? Just garden stuff, probably.
Garden stuff. Our garden started out wonderful. Everything was coming up. Mrs. Jack's her starter plants that she planted started coming up, and then about the end of June going into July, we had this tremendous drought. Well, I don't want to say drought.
It was a heat wave.
It was just a heat wave and everything. Especially our tomatoes got stunted.
No rain. We had no rain for a couple months.
Yeah, we watered.
We watered every day.
Twice a day in the morning and then once at night.
But that's nothing like rainwater.
Rainwater, so.
Our tomatoes looked awful. We didn't think we were getting any tomatoes.
Yeah,
we did though.
Growing except for the peppers. I don't understand why the peppers.
We got a lot of foliage, but not
a lot of fruit. Yeah, so.
But which in return caused a lot of bugs.
Yes.
I
heat.
never dealt with the amount
Yeah.
of bugs that
Yeah.
I did this year in my garden.
We had
squash bugs,
cucumber beetles.
We had the worms, the green worms.
From the.
It was just everything. Aphids. Anything that you could get bug wise in your garden, we got.
Yeah.
They decimated some things, like my eggplant.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Remember the leaves just disintegrated.
Yeah, and then the squashes that we had
squash they destroyed.
Pans, the
butternut squash and the acorn
squash.
Our cucumbers. I do so good with cucumbers every year. This year, forget it. I got like two jars of pickles.
If that, and they were tiny.
Yeah.
Tiny little
So
pickles.
they killed me with that. They were attacking my grapes. I was pulling them. The Japanese beetles.
But they come every year.
Yeah, they were awful. Yeah, they were awful with my grapevine. Our pumpkins, they were destroying our pumpkins. It was just the bugs because no rain for 2 weeks. We had a big bug problem, but we still had a good harvest.
Yeah, later on, and then it's probably the end of August, going into September, the weather changed and we started getting rain, and it's just unbelievable how a garden just perked right up. Started getting tomatoes, which should have been already started coming in. Yeah, all the stuff that was getting stunted, and we actually thought we had some kind of
disease for the tomatoes.
Yeah, not the what is that tomato disease with the brown blight. We didn't think we had blight, but we thought we had something else.
But it was the leaf curling, which that's what happens when there's a drought.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to hold the moisture
into the stem.
Yeah.
The heart of the plant.
Do you want to tell them about our second potato harvest?
Oh, our first. Well, we talked about our second potato harvest. We put in, I can't remember what kind, but we let it go. Me personally, I don't think we waited long enough. We should have waited till maybe after. When did we harvest them? In September, wasn't it?
I forget.
We should have waited.
We had a great harvest. The first harvest was great. Yeah, we were so excited because we thought we were going to get a second harvest just like that.
We should have waited, I believe. Plus the voles, I guess they call them. They're like a mouse mole type thing. Got in there.
Yeah,
so and started getting into
when we dug them up, they were running everywhere, and we seen nests everywhere. And then the potatoes we were picking up, they were half eaten.
Yeah, or chewed on.
So we hardly had any whatsoever on the second harvest. So that was really like
maybe 3 pounds at the most.
That was heart-wrenching because we had done so good on the first one. We thought for sure we were giving them away because we were like, we're gonna have a lot. So here, take potatoes.
Yeah.
Not this year. No. We're not giving any away. And then that brings me into also canning. I do a lot of preserving. We are learning now that I'm really getting into canning, what we like canned and what we don't like canned.
Yeah.
Now, I had told you in the previous video, my biggest harvest was beans. And I had different types of beans. Well, the Chinese noodle beans, we loved them fresh. They tasted fine. I canned them. Well, I cannot eat them canned. They, to me, have like a slimy film to them.
Something changes in them when you can them like that.
I will not do that again. And I feel awful because I have so many jars in there canned of those beans.
I'll eat them, but
I cannot eat them. Potatoes.
Yes, we did.
We canned potatoes.
Yeah, some of our potatoes that out of our first harvest, we said, hey, we've seen people on YouTube doing it and this and that, so we decided to try it. And, I mean, it was okay. I think because we didn't blanch them long enough that they weren't the same. I mean,
They're edible.
they're not like a potato. Like if you make, you grab a potato out of a bag on your in your pantry or whatever and start mashing, boil it and mash it up. It's two different. Yeah, we're
Our
not gonna.
corn.
Yeah, we're not
We
doing that
weren't too
again.
thrilled with corn
Yeah,
either,
something was.
canned.
Yeah, there was something. Again, something in that. I don't know if it was in the corn itself or
Maybe we're not blanching long
long
enough.
enough. Yeah,
I don't
something.
know what it is.
It didn't
I'll
taste.
have to do some more research on it
Yeah,
because, like I said, there's certain things.
it tasted off.
Regular green beans we love.
Yeah, and
The
this.
carrots we loved.
Yeah,
Peas we
yeah,
loved. But there's something about the
the corn.
corn
The
and
seals were
something
good.
about the potatoes
Yeah,
and those
the
Chinese noodle
seals.
beans.
The seals were good on the cans, on the jars, and everything. Uh, for that stuff. But again, I mean, they were edible, the potatoes, but they're better fresh out of the bag in the pot, boil them, mash them up, serve them.
Well,
They're
we
better that
might
way. Yeah,
might try freezing the corn this year,
yeah, freezing it.
the kernels,
Right.
not on the cob, because
Yeah,
we did try freezing it on the cob and we didn't like that
yeah,
either.
it
So
was weird.
I have to do more research on it and see
Yeah.
what other
Oh,
people do.
we did cut up some of our potatoes into French fries, um,
Hash
hash
browns,
browns.
everybody loved
Yeah,
those.
hash browns, and no, that was the
Hash browns with the peppers.
yeah, but that's not fried potatoes.
Oh, fried potatoes
Yeah,
with peppers.
yeah, peppers, and then
Everybody loved them.
yeah,
We'll
they
have to
were
do a
good.
lot of
Yeah,
them
the
this
freezing
year.
part we worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Uh, um, but again, we have to blanch them longer, and we didn't blanch them. I soaked them, got most of the starch out. They say you gotta, soak them, rinse them till it rinses clear, and then you can can blanch them and then freeze them. But we didn't.
Something else new that we canned this year was our chicken,
Yep,
the meat birds that we
that's
raised.
good.
We only did a couple because we didn't know how we were going to like them. I
Right.
definitely would do it again. We have already eaten them all. The only thing I didn't like about it is I don't like it like fresh, like as a chicken salad. Cooked in something. And I
Yeah.
think, again, that's a texture thing for me. I felt like it was a little too dry when I had
Yeah.
it like as a salad. But like cooked in a sauce or
Yeah.
cooked in like chicken pot pie
Or
or
burrito, yeah, or
yeah,
quesadillas and
chicken tacos or
stuff
whatever.
like that.
It was just so handy to have already cooked chicken in a jar and to be able to pull it out and then just heat it up.
Yep. It was good. You
I
guys gotta
would
try it.
definitely do it again.
Yeah,
We
more of it
also
though.
canned venison. We haven't tried that yet,
Yeah.
so we'll have to
I've
let you
had
know
that
about
before.
that.
I've had canned venison, and it's really good. It's good for like making stew. It's really good for
So we
making
made
stew.
4 jars. We'll have to let you know how that goes this year. But I think that's pretty much it as far as the and again, it's not, they aren't really fails, some of them, Some of them were just things we didn't like or things we didn't do.
Right.
So this year, we're going to get into our
Right.
2023,
Right.
what we're going to do for this year.
So this will be the next video right after this one. What our plans are and what you guys can look forward to watching us do, or stuff like that. So if you hang out, check out the next video on up and coming 2023 projects. So again, we'll talk at you later, and be safe, and God bless and all that good stuff. So we'll see you.